back, listeners, to the BizBlend podcast, the space where business isn't just about strategy, it is about the real life stories that shape entrepreneurs and leaders. I'm your host, Sana, as always, and this is today's episode. It is going to hit that sweet spot where grit meets global ambition. Our guest is someone who truly embodies the entrepreneurial climb, listeners. From sleeping on a mattress in a London flat to building a $350 million global real estate portfolio, Chris Agohp is now an international real estate investor, hotel developer, and also founder of Agohp Capital, a firm specializing in high yield branded hospitality assets across the US, UK, UAE, and Mexico. And he's also known for turning assets into opportunities. And his approach to wealth creation and operational excellence is as unfiltered and raw as it is effective. So, whether you are just getting started or scaling, this conversation will definitely give you both the inspiration and the hard questions you need to ask yourself about what it really takes to build lasting success. So, with that, Chris, welcome to the show, and I'm really, really honored and excited to have you here with us.
It's a pleasure, Sana. Very nice to meet you here, and thanks for having me on.
Brilliant, brilliant. Chris, before we begin to explore the entrepreneurship and everything and anything around how exactly you built the empire, um, your journey, I mean, it is so interesting. It's so humbling. Sleeping on a mattress in a small London flat to now you are managing $350 million in global real estate. I mean, that's such a remarkable journey. Um, so extracting the glamour out of that, what was the single most difficult internal battle you faced during early days of building a Agohp Capital?
Wow, interesting. I never really think about the most difficult things because there's always problems coming along. You just fix them. But let's if I focus on the business, I think that the hardest thing was losing my high cash flow business during the pandemic. Um,
Mm,
and letting investors down, not being able to help people that trusted me because of the global situation. That was and this was the first time that I have to walk away from something because I couldn't fix it.
okay.
But to be completely honest, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Um, as I evolved from that as a completely different person and with a completely different mindset and a lot more focus, not only on 100-hour work weeks, but also on my body, my mind, my soul, um, and taking better care of my health, which is really what matters long term, to be completely honest.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, on the holistic outlook on this, and then one question comes to my mind. So, as you mentioned that this kind of adversity, it came as an opportunity for you. Did it organically come to you that I have to turn this adversity into opportunity, or was it something that you had to actually work around a lot, think about it?
Mm, I think life always gives you a path and to walk by, and you will come to certain crosspoints where a lot of people stand still and are scared to make decisions and don't know where to go, left, right, up, down. Um,
Mhm.
I've always acted very, very quickly in my
Mhm.
life, making decisions. Um, and yeah, it just came to the point where I understood, okay, I've done my best here. Let's move on. And that's actually when I moved to Mexico from London. And even though I don't speak Spanish, And I never did any business in Mexico before. I built
Mm.
a large project of villas and got into the hotel business over the next couple of years. As before, I only did vacation rental property on a very large scale, but it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, personally, moving to a new country, shifting business, being into a completely new industry, although you do have that background knowledge, it definitely requires a lot of courage, resilience, lot of risk taking. And I think that's something that is, I mean, it's not a generalized opinion, personal opinion, but I personally feel that this is something innate with entrepreneurs and founders because it's a complete different ball game. It's a complete
Yeah.
different ball.
Yeah,
So
taking risks is one of the absolute most important aspects of entrepreneurship because you are trying to create something new. Any business, any technology, any service, and anything you're trying to provide and add value from nothing. You're trying to create something new. You're trying to take other people's market share, or even like vacation rental.
yeah,
When it started in 2012, there wasn't really a marketplace for it. Airbnb created this global marketplace, this global opportunity, and there was no infrastructure, no suppliers, no pricing algorithms, no one to deliver your linen, no cleaners were available and professionally trained. It was, yeah, it's extremely hard, and you need to be like when with any startup, whatever it is in software, in property, etc. It's it's very hard, and you need to make difficult decisions, and you need to take very high risks if you want to create something valuable.
absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. And Chris, do you have any personal practices or I should say rituals that help you take those risks, or you just do your calculations and predictions and you take a leap of faith and then you just go blazing? I mean, how do you do that?
Um, I think I'm actually not too analytical in that aspect, but
Okay.
I do collect a lot of life experience. I've always had a pretty good intuition. Based on my experiences, it didn't just come from nothing. Um, I did have a difficult life from teenager age onwards, so I'm very used to pain. Um, and taking risks and trying things out and failing. I was a professional gymnast. It can be quite painful when you misstep or misland a jump, etc. It's just part of my life since I can remember, really. And of course, when I started my first business at 19, I decided it to be something financial because I wanted freedom. Um, and the first thing I was thinking of was generating financial liquidity because that was my like what I thought gives me that first leap of freedom I was dreaming of. And yeah, over the years I became more and more analytical. But at the beginning, to be honest, at 18, 19, I didn't know nothing. My time wasn't worth much. So I just spent a lot of time and took high risks on on markets, on industries that were doing okay, and then I found one that was doing really well, which was the vacation rental sector, um, which actually isn't doing so well right now. Uh, but there's other industries who are doing extremely well. So yeah.
Hmm. Wow, that is really really inspiring. And you mentioned about working hard, putting long hours. Now, definitely, there's discipline required, and then the industries that you have been working in, these are like very much cash flow intensive businesses. a lot of fixed capital required, fixed assets required here. So it definitely needs a lot of operational efficiency, excellence here. But I also would like to, explore. So, where exactly is the line between being disciplined and burning yourself out in the name of growth? I mean, how do you get a hint that this is the time when I have to pull back? I have to just kind of, center myself, and then I'll get back to this.
Mhm. I think when I'm eating the right food and I get enough sleep, more or less, and, I do my daily exercise, I do my daily movement. Um, to be honest, I do love my work. Of course, there is probably 50-60% of the things they're not that exciting, like raising $10 million for a project, but, they just need to get done. So I just truly love what I do. I've always done that. I've never tried to create a business or service in an industry that absolutely bores me. Uh, and and obviously now as I have some capital and cash flow, I can outsource a lot of tasks. So I'm actually not working 100 hours a week anymore. Um, my time has become way more valuable, and invested strategically into the right tasks, the right things. But 15 years ago, I did everything myself. Um, Obviously, I wasn't the best at it, but I tried very hard and got very good at it with enough hours spent, whatever it was. So uh, yeah, you just need to be very adaptable at
Mm.
the beginning, because if you don't have capital, you don't have experience, you just need to, yeah, spend a lot of time and work very, very hard. And yeah, it changed over the years, but back then it was really just 7 days a week, 18-hour days uh, for years. Yeah, it just that's what was required.
Mm. One thing you mentioned that you initially had to do everything yourself, and I think that's where many early stage founders and entrepreneurs they struggle. I believe that it's quite struggling because um it's kind that you, instead of you running the business is running you. So I
Yeah,
think that's the phase where you definitely need the systems, and more than systems and the processes, the people who are working with you, you're working with. A good team will definitely give you that sustainability and longevity, and that inner confidence that this is something I'll go with, and then your risk appetite, it also increases. um
yeah. I think I would like to unpack this a little bit deeper. So as you spoke about burning out before,
mhm,
I think as a man, it's extremely important that you never walk a journey by yourself. As a lone wolf, it will be a lot harder. As I lived in 8 countries, and I'm basically working most of the day, I until I actually moved to Dubai, um, I've always been more or less working by myself, and it's very, very difficult. It's way easier if you're in a partnership and you have obviously the right partner, and you work towards a goal together. It's way more enjoyable in in a group, and that's where employees come in. I think when you learn to choose the right people around you, and you work really hard and you add value to their lives, and they can evolve and they can learn and they gain experience and succeed in most challenges, and um, have a positive experience working with you, and the ability to earn money and make more money in the future, have a better future. They're gonna work really, really hard, and they're gonna stick around. They're gonna be loyal. Um,
definitely.
and but yeah, that's key actually to your mental health and to your freedom, is that you create these systems in place, that you find the software that works to improve your business and the employees on operational workflows that that you gain your time back as an entrepreneur, because if you create something valuable, that's what you should focus on. You should always focus on the paying customer. Um, and how can you improve your service to make your customer even more happy?
Definitely. And I can definitely imagine in high stakes real estate deals, that line gets even thinner and thinner. So definitely connect with that.
I
Uh,
mean, you'll be surprised because Marriott is around for over 100 years. If you do a franchise deal, you get
Mhm.
actually all their experience and global network
Mm.
directly transplanted into your property. So
Mhm.
this is one of the main reasons why we work with Hilton and Marriott only. We do have other brands, but we really believe in the success of these two long term, and
Mm.
and we believe in the American market, the US dollar driven market. Um, that also helps. And and yeah, if you have done 100-plus-year-old business and you have done a new business like vacation rental that's less than 10, 20 years old, um,
Mhm.
it is harder to raise 10, 20, $30 million for a deal. But when it's done, it's a lot more sustainable and lower risk and easier to manage than the vacation rental industry, which is still unregulated in many places. Um, you and another big difficulty is location. Mostly when you can't just buy an entire building because there's different leaseholders, so you buy a flat or two or three in one building.
Mhm.
When I had 293 properties in London, around 220 were in different locations. So it was a very, very difficult operation. It was nearly 800 bedrooms um, in over 200 different locations in a city that's always busy. So it's very nice to have a 150 room building with a global recognized brand and have it in one place.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And as you mentioned about risk, Chris, and you know, some people would say that yeah, entrepreneurship is all about uh, taking risks that even others wouldn't imagine or touch. But then there is also another side to this discussion, that this mindset can easily tip into overconfidence. So, how do you differentiate between being bold and being reckless?
Hmm. Well, that's why God showed me all sides of the story from the beginning. I come from a very low middle income household that didn't have too much growing up. So I was um I already saw that side. Then in my teenager times I fought with disease for around 8 years. So um that was a tough time. And then I just wanted to be free and healthy and worked really, really hard on things. But it never really grew over my head. Um then I saw the whole world closing down, generational wealth being destroyed um during the pandemic. And yeah, I lived in Ukraine, I lived in Moldova, I lived in Mexico for many years. I think as an entrepreneur, if you generate millions of dollars per month and you live in Los Angeles and you live in a different world, like 99.999% of people, maybe you lose a little bit of touch and connection. For me, it wasn't the case because I've always been boots on the ground on construction sites with my construction workers. Or a few years ago, I was still cleaning, if necessary, myself in properties when it was urgent. Um, I always support whoever I can. Um, and it doesn't really matter if what like whatever it takes to make the customer happy, to make the business successful, just needs to be done. Yeah.
Completely agree. And with that, before we wrap up, I would also like to bring the global scale and the cultural nuance. Um, and talking about Agohp Capital, I mean, it operates across multiple continents. Um, so, what's been the biggest cultural or operational challenge you have faced building a truly global business?
Yeah, it's a good question. Um, I think one of the key aspects what it taught me is there is a reason why certain countries are economically successful because of their geolocation,
Okay.
because of their weather as well.
Yeah.
Um, there's a few countries like the UAE which somehow breaks out of that circle, but in general, um, pretty much every culture, every country, specifically how to manage employees, is completely different, and is it's very challenging to find good employees. Um, Specifically in Mexico, it's a very very tough labor market and
Mhm.
very social labor laws. That has always been a big challenge. Uh, Also running and the currency exchange rates. So running these businesses and having income in multiple currencies and specifically investing millions of dollars in different currencies um, brings in a big challenge, especially the last years since they printed too much US dollars and yeah, just that the whole world is inflated and there is a lot of volatility. Even today, yesterday, Trump did the trade deal with Europe. Um, so today the dollar is going crazy again, um, which has been good for me actually. But it can go in the other direction too, which it has for me in the past. So yeah, it's always an up and down. Um, I think having a good team and having the right operational structures in place, which we definitely have with Marriott Group, Hilton Group, with over they have combined more than 15,000 hotels globally in all different, like in all countries you could imagine, in the weirdest places and cities, um, in very up and coming or in very low scale um, places, in very developed cities. They're everywhere, and that's so wonderful working with these brands is that you just you there's a lot of mistakes, you just don't need to make them. Um, and life is more peaceful that way, to be honest.
Hmm. And so, Chris, if our listeners, they would like to connect with you and explore more about Agohp Capital and more insights, into the world of entrepreneurship. What would be the best way?
Yeah, you can just message me on Instagram. It's my name all together, just Chris Agop. Just shoot me a DM or voice message. Me and my team will get back to you. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. Again, just Chris Agop, easy to find, and maybe you can share the links in the description of the podcast later.
Definitely, definitely. I'll make sure to add all of them in the show notes along with this episode. And Chris, I really appreciate because it was really an honest conversation, not sanitized or glamorized, but it's like you have lived the fear, you have made tough calls, and you're still pushing forward with clarity about what really matters. So thank you so much for sharing your insights.
No, it's a pleasure. Very nice to meet you, Sana. All the best to you as well. And maybe at some point we'll meet again on another podcast in a few years. Would be a pleasure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to all the listeners out there, I hope today's episode challenges you to look at your own entrepreneurial path differently. Is your grind aligned with your bigger purpose, or are you just running on autopilot? So, if you found this episode valuable, please share it with someone who's building something bold. Until next time, I am Sana, and I'll see you in the next episode of this blend. Thank you.